My name is Perry Zhang. Welcome to Cashflow Marketplace. Today, we're going to talk about the difference between preferred return and straight split, and which one is more advantageous to you as a LP. The first scenario is a straight 80-20 split, meaning after the principal is given back, it's an 80-20 on the profit. A little bit of terminology here. When we say it's a 80-20 split, 80 is called the LP split in this case, and 20 is the GP split. That's usually on the profit. The 20% actually is also called promote. Scenario number 2 is a 7% preferred. After that, it's a 70-30 split. The misconception is they think preferred return is better than what it is. And I think the root cause is that people don't exactly know what is preferred return. What do you think is the interpretation? So interpretation number 1 is 7% preferred. After 5 years, you get 35% of your money back. The property is sold at the end of 5 years. And at that point, 100% more gets added to you. So at this point, you have 135% return. And then after that, it's a 70-30 split on the profit. So that's interpretation number 1. Interpretation number 2 is same thing, 7% preferred. After 5 years, 35%. And then at the end of 5 years, when the property is sold, the GP only has to return your initial principal back, which means only 65% more to true up the initial investment of 100%. And then after you given the 100% money back, the split becomes a 70-30. 70% goes to the LP and 30% goes to the GP. Which one of the two interpretations do you think is the correct interpretation? It turned out that 99.9% of the operating agreements actually adopt interpretation number 2. Which means that as soon as you get 100% of your money back, it's a 70-30 split. So let's talk about a degenerated case. Suppose for all 5 years, there's no cash flow. So at the end of the 5 years, in the 7% preferred, that you only get your principal back, and then after that, it's a 70-30 split. And because there's no cash flow, the preferred actually doesn't matter. In the 80-20 split, you also get your initial principal back, and then it becomes an 80-20 split. So in that degenerated case, you as an LP actually just lost 10% split in the preferred case. Preferred return is not what people think it is. It's not additional return. It simply means preferential treatment on the cash flow. And I actually created a spreadsheet that compares the 7% preferred and the regular 80-20 split. It turned out that if the deal is doing better than 110% total return over the course of 5 years, then the 80-20 is better for the LP because you have more of the upside. Whereas if the deal does less than 110% total return, then the preferred is slightly better for the LP. In all of my deals, I actually only do the 80-20 and not do the preferred. I could have done the preferred, but I think that 80-20 is a little bit easier to understand for the LP. Whereas the preferred is one of those things that on perception, it looks really good, but when all is said and done, they come out behind at the end. For a lot of the LPs, they actually think that this is better when it's actually not the case. So I hope that this is useful when you are evaluating between the preferred return and a straight split. One more thing I want the audience to take away though is that this is not the most important metric you could use to judge a GP. Instead, focus on the GP's track record, character, communication style, and their responsiveness. When you are evaluating those two deals, honestly, if you look at the spreadsheet and the graph, is that those two scenarios are very similar to each other. They don't make that much of a difference. Regardless of which one they choose, especially if it's 7% and 70-30 split, or nowadays 6% and 70-30 split versus the 80-20, it's about the same. So do not let that be the basis in which you choose one deal over the other. This is a pretty advanced topic, so thank you for sitting through it. And if you have any other topics that you would like me to cover, please make a comment down below. Thank you so much and have a great day.